Well, hello, good afternoon to all of the viewers out there in the interwebs and within the wonderful world of Space 1999. Welcome to a special experimental live stream of Space 1999 this episode. What I'm planning on doing here today, folks, and thank you for joining and tuning in, of course. The latest segment we have for the Taybor, Roy and I actually pre-recorded a little earlier on this week, but it's so much fun to go live, and there's been so many comments that it's just people really enjoy that sense of being a part of things a little more, as opposed to just dropping the raw episode this week. I figured I'd try something a little different and sort of couple this with sort of as a show within a show, because what I'm going to do is I'll just run the raw episode while we're live, and anybody tuning in, I'll still be sort of in the background and can field any comments. It's not going to be really live and interactive with Roy and our guest, but just a fun and little different way to sort of capitalize on live streaming and saying hello to everybody, keeping everybody up to date on things from week to week. So if it's successful, I might consider doing it down the road as well. If it doesn't work well, I'll still drop the full episode onto YouTube, but we'll see how this works as a show within a show at the same time. There's a couple other things I wanted to go live for anyway. One was that earlier on in the week, we announced a special draw for anybody who'd purchased their ticket or subscription membership to Manchester would be entered into a special draw for a copy of the new Anderson Entertainment Space 1999 Breakaway Steelbook Edition in 4K. You can see that there. So we're going to be drawing for that. We can do that live at the end of the show today. It also just gets the word out there a little more. If anybody was considering it, you can still, there's still time to pick up that ticket. Doesn't even have to be a full weekend pass. Even a supporting membership, if you're considering coming, will help us out. And that's fully upgradable. So you can pick up that supporting, get entered into the draw. It's fully upgradable. And as well, even if you can't make it, the supporting membership will include a very special copy of the digital convention booklet, which we've done 2 times now, the last couple of years for London and Los Angeles. And of course, there'll be a third revised version of that coming along towards the end of the year. And that's included in the supporting membership tier. So head on over to www.space199950years.com. It's rolling by there at the bottom on the ticker. And throughout the course of the next hour and a half, you'd still have time to get entered into the draw. We'll come back after our episode with Roy and special guest Lou Place discussing the Taybor, and we'll do that live draw. If I can pull it up here, I'll show you real quick what I've got in mind. You can see here. Oh yes, and there we go off into infinity. But there's our wheel of names. So we got 4 or 5 people already on it, ready to go. And if you want to take advantage of the opportunity before the end of the show here, I'd say in about 90 minutes, we'll be able to add your name in time for that breakaway 4K draw. And so let me come back here. And we do have lots of viewers out there, and so the nice thing is I can still I'll be in the background as we run the episode, and if there's any comments, I'll sort of be behind the scenes and I can respond to anything if anybody has any questions on the upcoming Manchester event. The other thing I think we just start off with a little differently. There's been a lot of hype and buzz surrounding the new Return to Moonbase Alpha project in the last few weeks. And of course, I think most of you are aware that we're actually planning on launching a Kickstarter come April the 1st. And I know it's April Fool's Day, but no, it is happening. There's been a couple comments, in the last week or so in regards to, this is just some AI trickery or things like that. But no, it's actually happening. But yes, to turn around and launch a Kickstarter on April 1st, it is legit, and we're really excited for things to finally come to fruition. This has been an ongoing process for the last few years, developing things and getting things underway and set to actually take place this year in 2026. So let's start with that for anybody out there, and we'll see if any comments come in. But give me a second here, and I'll just queue up the latest trailer that hit just last weekend, and it's blown up. It's virtually gone viral, at least within Space 1999 land, and some really positive feedback on it so far. And it's a fun little, we did the trailer with Anton a couple years back. It sort of set the stage and created a lot of excitement to literally go back to Moonbase Alpha after 25 years of living on Terra Alpha, as established in Message from Moonbase Alpha. This new clip is a little different, and it's sort of designed to actually take place before that status update with Anton a few years, and it's sort of meant to portray a little bit of Alan Carter's motivation in wanting to go back, and it is a little it's sort of also a nod to one of my favorite episodes, and Collision Course, of course, established that whole mysterious unknown force dynamic that is now so very, very famous. And a lot of people remember space for exactly that. There were episodes like Collision Course, Black Sun, Testament of Arcadia, that really, really created this idea that there was somebody watching out for the Alphans and guiding them along their way, and so we'll start with this clip, and it is sort of also, just so everybody knows, essentially a dream that Alan Carter has, right? So of course, as you all know, in Collision Course, Ara really only talked to two people, and that was John Koenig and Alan Carter, and there was a lot of seeds planted within that episode, that sort of play on the idea that there was a grand scheme of events, and that of course that even things like the breakaway explosion and the departure from Earth was all preordained, and none of it was by accident. There was a deeper meaning and purpose to it. So sort of picks up on that. We'll run that new trailer first, and feel free if anybody's out there to chime in with any comments and questions, and I'll come back in a moment. But then we'll also get into the pseudo live episode with Roy and myself and Lou Place discussing the Taybor. So here we go.
We have expected you for many millions of years. I have been for you, John Koenig.
What will happen to us?
You shall continue on. Your odyssey shall know no end. You will prosper and increase in new worlds, new galaxies. You will populate the deepest reaches of space. You see, your destiny has always been our destiny. Carter. It is I, Alan, who need your help now.
Ara, she called. Where is she?
Aha, and there we go. So yeah, that was a really fun project to put together, of course, to help us leading into the Kickstarter next month. Roy and I are actually, just so everybody knows, we're going to take a few weeks off throughout March with the this episode segments. Um, we have a lot to do actually behind the scenes to sort of fine tune and get that Kickstarter ready to go, sort of tweak it and make sure that everything is just so for when we launch. So having said that, the other thing I wanted to point out to anybody out there who hasn't already seen or followed already, but we did launch a new page for Return to Moonbase Alpha on Facebook, and it's simply facebook.com/return to Moonbase Alpha, all one word. And it has really gained a lot of followers the last couple weeks as well. So thank you to everybody out there if you haven't been there yet. But that'll be the primary location. And that's also why I'm sort of doing a live stream today. StreamYard's doing something funny with connecting Facebook pages. And so what I'm also doing here today is I'm of course streaming to the YouTube channel, but I've dropped that link in the new Facebook page just to make sure that it does go live in there as well. So I'll be it's sort of a double experiment here today, the show within the show, but also I want to make sure, and it's something to do with something silly. There was a something passed that said StreamYard couldn't connect to Facebook pages that weren't any more than 60 days old. They had to have sort of what they call an established presence and minimum 100 followers. We're way over the followers. We're already at 1.2 K. But the of course we're not going to hit that 60-day mark. So it's super unfortunate. But if this works just fine, we can still keep everybody updated throughout the month of April during the Kickstarter. Of course, it's very important to generate live, virtually weekly updates on the campaign to see how we're doing. Announce any new stretch goals that we may have along the way, or any new perks or prizes. Having said that, then that's kind of why we're here today as well, just sort of playing around with things and some of the platforms. So we'll go ahead and we'll roll the brand new episode. And like I said, I'll be in the background if anybody wants to. Feel free to still chime in with any comments or thoughts or opinions on the episode, the Taybor. Okay, and then come back. Make sure to hang around till the end of the episode, and we'll come back. We'll do the draw for the Breakaway 4K Steelbook Edition. Okay, so and as a reminder, anybody out there, if you haven't gotten a ticket for Manchester yet, that's how you'd qualify for a draw entry over the next 90 minutes or so. If you wanted to go to www.space199950years.com, pick up your ticket for Manchester, even a supporting membership, which is upgradable to a full pass, we'll get you into the draw by the end of the episode. Okay. All right. Having said that, here we go. We'll launch into the Taybor with Roy and our very special guest, Lou Place.
Hello, Warren.
Hello there, Roy. How are you
How are
today?
you? I
Good.
am doing well. How are you doing?
Excellent. Excellent. You have power today?
Yeah, we should note that we are actually recording this on Monday, February 23rd, and it's about 6:15 in the evening Eastern Standard Time. And the Northeast got whacked last night with a tremendously huge snowstorm. And many parts of the Northeast were crippled. Many people were without power. We actually lost power 11 p.m. last night, and it came back around 4 a.m. In fact, our very special fan guest that's joining us today actually had record-breaking snow in his area, and it's been the most snow since 1978. So that kind of gives you an idea of the magnitude of this storm that came through. Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. Incredible. I hope everybody's okay and safe. And
Yeah, I know. It's just crazy. We just got out of it. 4 weeks ago we got hit really hard with a nor'easter, and then all the snow was just about melting, especially in this area. And then it came through. But for us, luckily, we only got about 6 inches around in this area of New Jersey. But parts of southern New Jersey and central New Jersey got hit pretty hard, and north of us were really bad.
holy smokes. Well, you know what? I guess if there's a positive to it all, it's like we're almost into March now. So, the season's almost over. It can't last that much longer, right?
Knocking on wood, spring is around the corner, and March is one of those months that's very turbulent when it comes to weather, especially here in the Northeast. But well, you're in Canada, so I mean, you're no stranger to the weather conditions. I mean, how has it been in Canada?
Well, in contrast, where I'm at in the middle of Canada, we've actually had a fairly light season. So the month of February was almost like spring, which is super unusual. We did get dumped on here last week again, so we are sort of back into it. But already I'm looking at the forecast, and like within 5 days, it's supposed to be warming right up again. So there again, it won't last long. But yeah, no, usually, I mean, yeah, where I'm at in the heart of the prairies in Canada, we are known for really harsh seasons with one of two things: either lots and lots of snow, or lots and lots of like really unbearable -40. So. So it was nice to have a sort of a relaxed season with it all, but I do hope everybody down east there is well and good and stays safe over the next few weeks here.
No, thanks. And yeah, and you too. That's great that you're having the spring weather, because I remember you telling me about you had to take out your battery out of the car a couple of times.
Oh, a couple of years ago, yeah. I know it's so cold that
cold. That's insane. Wow.
Yeah. Whereas this year in February, I was wearing shorts.
Well, there you go. You never know.
Oh, well, here we are again, Roy, for another episode of Space 1999, this episode. And we usually introduce things or start things off for our viewers out there with a fun little synopsis that you have from ITC, correct?
Yeah, we've got the ITC summary, and it goes something like this. A boisterous, flamboyant, larger-than-life trader from hyperspace makes a remarkable appearance on the moon and falls in love with Maya. And of course, we're talking about episode number 6, the Taybor.
The Taybor. The Tabor? The Taybor.
The Taybor.
Wow. You know, what the first few words there, I mean, we've been doing a little better job with keeping the mystery with these segments this year. But the way that started, a boisterous, over the top, that almost sounds like Patrick Mower from All the Glisters.
Really?
The cowboy.
Oh, I know who he is. I'm just trying to picture him in that.
No, but as soon as you got to the word trader, that's what gave it away. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So boisterous and flamboyant. Well,
yes,
okay.
yes, yeah.
I get the boisterous part with his part, but I don't know if he was so much flamboyant.
Over the top.
Definitely, he was definitely over the top. Definitely larger than life.
Yeah.
I'll meet you halfway on that.
Okay. Fair enough.
But we've talked about all the glisters, and hey, we're talking about the Tabor.
We're doing the Taybor today, so let's bring on our special guest. I'm really excited to welcome back.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Absolutely, our good friend Mr. Lou Place. Hello, Lou.
Hey, Lou. Oh,
I can't hear anything
Oh,
from
test,
you guys.
test. Are you there now?
can you hear us? No?
No. Okay.
Maybe put him out and then bring him back in, Warren.
Yeah. We'll let you if he's not hearing us, but we will. This happened to Ellen a couple weeks ago. Did it not?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
So we'll do a take 2.
Yeah. If you can just message him and just say, try the link again.
Yeah, hang on a second. Yep. Give me 1 second. Yeah, unfortunately, we are having technical issues, folks, but please stand by. It'll be all good. Let's see here. Hello.
I can keep everybody entertained.
You're not going to sing, are you? No, Lou will be back in a moment. I just sent him a message, so
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, he got it. Okay.
Yeah. No, that's fine. So listen, we're gonna, of course, finish off with the Tabor here tonight, Roy, and then just so everybody's aware, we're probably going to take a few weeks off. So we're probably gonna. So I'll just sort of set those expectations for folks out there. When we started this, the intention was to do something every week. But we just found it's very difficult, with maintaining our regular lives and jobs and things like that. There's Lou. We'll try this again. Hello
Hey,
there.
We're back.
Yeah.
Okay. It's strange you did that for a couple times, just by taking people out there. But sorry about that, Lou.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah. Welcome back, and
Thank you.
thanks again for joining us for this fun episode. So what I was saying is that, we're probably going to take a few weeks off, Roy, throughout the month of April, or I'm sorry, March, but come back in April, right? I think is sort of the plan.
Yeah, we could take a couple months, or you're saying, you're saying April, I'm saying a couple months. We'll between the two of us, we'll get it right.
A couple weeks.
A couple weeks maybe, just to break things up a little bit, as Warren said, trying to juggle schedules and just trying to plan everything. So it'll be probably maybe about a 2-week hiatus, we'll say, and then we'll be back, and it'll be full steam ahead again.
Yeah. Well, and I think, that sort of times out nicely because, as you know, and for anybody else out there watching, or just as a heads up, we do want to sort of come back in April in particular and try and do, 2 or 3 live broadcasts if possible, because we're going to spin those also into opportunities to keep people up to date with the Kickstarter for Return to Moonbase Alpha that's going to launch on April 1st as well. So we'll try and couple things together there and have some live updates throughout the Kickstarter as well on the campaign, and also include a couple of Space 1999 This Episode segments at the same time. So
cool beans.
Yeah.
Cool.
So anyway, now Lou, you said you
Yes.
you rewatched the Tabor today, right?
Yeah, I hadn't seen it in a couple of years.
A couple years. Okay.
And
Do you remember? Do you happen to remember it first run, or do you have any impressions or thoughts of it, when you were younger?
I honestly, no, I watched them all, as we all did, first time around. And then I kind of went away from it for a long time, and especially year 2. And that's all. I don't remember anything about the first run on that, except I probably liked it more then than I did now. I'm guessing, because anything was good back then because we had very little to choose from. So that was that was entertaining, but now you look at it, a little more,
Yeah.
a little more scrutiny there, and it's like, I don't know. But
Yeah. Well, it was, as far as a year 2 installment, I think with the changes, and we talked about this quite a bit, Roy, so far, and this is, well, a quarter of the way through, right? Episode 6. I think they were maybe still, from some perspectives, trying to find their way, trying to maybe feel out some of these new ideas and changes, because they were drastic, right? I mean, it wasn't just a slight cast change or things like that. I mean, they were basically, the way I've described Year Two to several people down through the years, is almost like a soft reboot, right? It was really, the concept was there, the locale was there. Martin and Barbara were there, and that's about it, right? Overall, for me, I was very young, and I don't have a lot of recollections of it first run as well, Lou. Upon rewatch in the 80s, so probably, when I was a little older, and I could maybe appreciate the series as a whole a lot better in the 80s myself. There was Willoughby Goddard. I mean, say what you will. He's we'd mentioned sort of over the top, Roy. I mean, but he does bring the charisma to that character in that role, and I think he did a very good job with it.
That's exactly what I was saying when I was watching it. I said, yeah, this guy is good, but the material, okay. But you said you were young. I was 2 years out of high school when that aired.
Wow,
first time.
Okay. Yeah.
So put that into perspective. I was 20 years old when that was on.
Now, how can that be? Because you're only 58 now.
I'm only 58. I wish.
Roy, what about yourself? Not how old are you?
He was in elementary.
Are you asking how old I was, or are you asking me about the episode, or are you asking both?
Well, let's start with how old you were.
It's the way you asked that, Warren. It sounds like you're treading a minefield there. And Lou looks very amused.
You were in elementary school, right, when that thing aired the first time?
Yeah, I'll be honest. When this episode aired, I was actually 10 years old, because I was 10 in my birthday's July 20th. So yeah, I would have been 10. Here's the thing for me when it comes to episodes like this. I never was a fan of like fantasy type, and I'm not even saying that this was a fantasy, but it had that kind of realm to it. And Lou and I've had these conversations over the years, like probably like over the 40 years, like, and I'll reference this because I love the series, but I'll try to make this short. This is becoming really digression here. I'm a big fan of Lost in Space, but I love the first season episodes. I love the first 3.5 episodes of the second season, and then there's probably a handful of episodes I like throughout the second season, and then that's it. And then the third season, the majority of them. I wasn't a big fan of the fantasy or the outlandish stuff, and to me, this kind of falls into that with the Taybor. And I just wasn't a big fan of it. I mean, it was not a Nick episode. So when the show, and I've talked about this before, when the opening credits would come on, if I didn't see featuring Tony Anholt and Nick Tate, I was like, oh. And it was only featuring Tony Anholt for this. So I knew Nick wasn't in it. So Alan Carter wasn't in it. And it wasn't like serious science fiction for me. And it was a turnoff. And that's at 10 years old. I mean, and I've pretty much been that way, since then in regards to it. In regards to Willoughby Goddard, honestly, he gave a really great performance. I mean, you believe he is the Taybor. I mean, he sells it. He's this, as the ITC description was saying, he's this larger than life character, and he really just conveys it. You don't feel that, he isn't selling it, because he is, but it's just that type of character that I didn't like for it. I can tell you the stuff I did like, but I'd rather hear. We'll circle back with yourself, Warren, and then also Lou first. I've said enough.
Well, he is, I would call, the Roger C. Carmel of that episode.
Yes, he's like the Harry Mudd. Absolutely. Absolutely.
My favorite thing about it was that kind of cool looking spaceship he came in on. That was kind of neat. Even though it had flames painted on the landing gear or something. But that was, most Martin Bauer's work, I'm assuming. And then
No, believe it or not,
it wasn't?
the spaceship was actually created by Space Models that did the
Oh.
two Eagles, the
Eagles.
244-inch Eagles.
Really?
But Martin Bauer did build the tank that he's kind of puts up and is kind of threatening Alpha with when he first appears on the base.
Yes.
So that was Martin Bauer's work.
Okay.
But no, to your point, Lou, the SS Emporium, his ship was really cool. I mean, just the way it lands.
Yeah, the things opened up and everything.
It was really cool the way it was lit. And
Yep.
the music in this episode was brilliant.
Yeah, Derek scored this episode separately.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you could tell. Tabor's got that groovy little theme going on throughout.
Yep.
Yeah. But talking about it, fellas, one of the things I thought of, Roy, is remember on when we were talking about Journey to Where, and I sort of said at the beginning, at the onset, that I was suspicious of the people from Texas City as to their motivations and their intentions. And of course, that plays through here with Taybor as well, right? Because he's so over the top, bumbling and goofy, right, and things like that. But he does have that ulterior motive, as we find out, right? So it was that, coupled with the idea that, what the other thing I thought of here, fellas, is that in this first batch of episodes, or in those early, we were talking about year 2 and them finding their way. I guess one of the things that sort of bothers me about these early episodes is that they really relied on the trope a few times too many, in my opinion, of somebody strange and quirky coming to Alpha and just sort of showing up, right? And because when you think of it, there's the Taybor, there's Megas in New Adam, New Eve, there's Brian Brain, right? And it's just, they may be for my liking anyway, they relied on I'll call it a trope of, who's the next zany character who's going to visit Moonbase Alpha.
Yeah, he's going to walk through the doors.
Yeah.
Or in Brian the Brain's case, roll through the doors.
Where was Taybor on production order?
This is actually episode number 6.
Six.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
you said it was like a quarter of the way into it. So okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the earlier ones. This episode was actually written by a friend of Johnny Burns, and the writer it's an American writer. His name is Tom Keyes, and he was responsible for science fiction stories. Interesting enough, when Johnny Burns wrote Another Time, Another Place, he named the character of Regina after Tom's wife, who is Regina von Kesslen. So that was kind of like a nod to her.
Really?
So,
Okay.
So there was a friendship there for that. So I thought that was kind of cool in regards to that. Yeah. But one of the other things I'm going to, say, watching this episode, I mean, we get to see the Solarium again. We haven't really seen the Solarium since the Force of Life. And
that's
you know
right.
what? We got to see some, beautiful Alphans in there.
Fine.
Yeah, fine. Exactly. I mean, we got to see Kate. We got to see, now I'm going to mention the actress's name. She goes uncredited, though, as far as a character name. And that, well, actually, in the episode, she's Karen, and that was Lorraine Humphreys. And she was actually featured in The End of Eternity.
Dragon.
She was also in End of Eternity. She was in the area. It's kind of like the reception area, and when the jailer comes up behind her, and then you also have what you're going to say, the nurse in Dragon's Domain. She was actually the one that says goodnight to Koenig. She says goodnight, Commander. She's coming in, and then she's like leaving as Koenig is entering to check on Cellini. She was a Vegan in One Moment of Humanity. And then also she was the girl that basically picks up the object, and then it shocks her, and then she gets burns, and she has the temporary blindness. So she's featured. And then also Vicky Michelle, who is also another actress. She plays an Alphan, and she's also in the Solarium. And then she's also, you get to see her later on when she's exiting with one of Tabor's gifts after they did, they exchanged wares, as they put it. So we get to see her. And interesting enough, too, they both, like Lorraine Humphreys, she had done the Benny Hill show. She had done things on, with that. Vicky Michelle was an actress that's done a lot of theater. She was known for a iconic role of Yvette Carte Blanche, and on the long-running BBC sitcom Allo, and I guess it was on from 1982 to 1992, and then they did a revival of it in 2007. And I'm probably butchering the name. It's ALLO.
Hello. I think that's
yeah,
what.
there you go. So, and then also Rita Webb, who played the character of Maya, and at the end of the episode, when she's got that really sarcastic laugh and she bursts the glass out and everything. She was a character actress that did a lot of work, and she worked from 1950 to 1981, and she also did the Benny Hill show, From Death to Do Us Part. A lot of different episodic television. So it's interesting to see that, the actresses and the actors that they bring in, to see them in other things, in other episodes, and then also their career. So thought I'd just share that.
Yes, you are a fount of information.
I know. Boy, your research, Roy, is above and beyond.
That's another show. And then also Willoughby Goddard. I mean, his career. I mean, he had a 40-year television and film career, and was known for playing very larger-than-life characters. No pun intended. But I mean, there was times in his life that he reached almost 300 pounds. Now, he was not only imposing with his weight, I'll say, because he was a big guy, let's face it, but he also was very tall. He was about 6'2". So even when he's standing next to Martin Landau, I mean, he looks a little shorter, but Martin Landau is about 6'3" at the time of, they were filming Space 1999. So he did a lot of theater. He also was in Oliver Twist. He did a television performance with that. And also he did a Broadway production of that as well. And he originated the role of Cardinal Wolsey in the West End production of Robert Bolt's A Man for All Seasons. So he definitely was no stranger to theater, television, and film. So again, excellent performance by him. I mean, if I know there's folks that do enjoy the episode, and as Lou was saying, it is a lot of fun on a certain level. It definitely is. It's a fun. You can't take it seriously. Yeah. But the acting is definitely really good.
And he died in 2008.
Yeah, and sadly,
I looked it up.
He actually, I guess he retired in 1987. He was like 60 years old. Oh my goodness! Oh. And with that, I guess he had severe arthritis, but he had like a 40-year career. So I mean, definitely a good run though. But but sadly, like you said, Lou, he's been gone for 18 years now already, which is crazy. But so many people have passed.
Lou, you'd mentioned the scene I guess it's in the recreation area. It's a fun scene where they're trading their wares, and we're learning a little more about some of the characters. Jeffrey Kassoon comes back, right? We talked about him last episode, Roy.
Oh yeah.
He plays a pretty good doctor, right? And Yasko's there, of course, again, and it was a fun scene. The other one that immediately comes to mind is the dinner scene earlier on. Right?
Oh yeah,
that was and that was nice to see. Right, we'd never seen the Elfins in that environment before.
That's right.
Sitting down having a meal, that was nice. And I'll also say it's one of those other instances where I've mentioned this a couple of times, Roy. I really it was a legitimate chuckle that the scene with Maya, right, and using her powers, right. It wasn't forced humor. It was another example of them using the character in a smart way to highlight her powers, right?
Yeah, and it was definitely comical, and of course we're acknowledging the scene where the Taybor puts his hand on Maya's leg, and he reciprocates with the grab, so to speak. But what she did was she transformed her arm and her hand into this alien creature
Claws.
claws, yeah, and then he's like, whoa. Tony's like laughing, and then again, it was a perfect segue into Tony's beer.
Mhm.
They mentioned that it wasn't fit for human consumption. That's something that we hear throughout the episodes. It's something that's brought up. It's mentioned previously, and then it's also mentioned in Catacombs of the Moon. It's kind of something that we will hear again. We get to see Maya in her dress that she was wearing from the Metamorph. That's kind of for the first time.
Yeah, yeah.
In fact, one thing I was going to say too is there are photos, publicity photos with Catherine Schell holding the laser rifle and on the moon's surface, and she's not in a spacesuit or anything, and her hair is down. I suspect that during the filming of the Taybor, that is when that shot was filmed, because I think that's the only other time we actually see her in that dress, and she looked pretty much the same as she did in the episode, as in the publicity photo that I'm referencing.
It could be.
Now, which my question for Roy, though, having said all that, is which laser rifle was it? Because you are the
Well, it wasn't
master of trivia when it comes to laser rifles.
Yeah, it wasn't the armor-piercing laser, and it was not the rocket gun that we see in the Beta Cloud. It is the laser rifle that is actually in the Eagle, in the Metamorph, that we see. That it's the laser rifle that, unfortunately, Picard, that name sounds familiar, Star Trek fans, Lou Picard attempts to break the force field, Mentor's force field. So it's that laser rifle that he's holding.
Yeah.
Which incidentally, Stephen Reeder actually had both of them at the convention that he brought in Burbank. Yeah. Excellent, which is really
that
good.
may have been one of the ones I owned at one time.
The one that you had was the one from the Beta Cloud.
Yeah.
The rocket guns. Yeah, and I think she was holding the other one.
Okay.
But that's so cool that you actually had, because I believe there were only 2 of those, and you had one of those, Lou, which is pretty amazing.
It's I don't know why I ever sold it. That was kind of stupid of me, but I had a section of Moonbase Alpha too, and I sold that.
Who did you acquire it from, Lou?
I honestly don't remember.
Was it David Hirsch?
I don't remember. I know I got the section of Moonbase Alpha from Ed Mayarecki.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
And he was mad that he sold it. I don't know what happened, but he didn't really want to sell it, but he did. I don't even want to tell you what I paid. You know that commercial where the guy says, "You know how much I paid for this car?" And he whispers into the guy's ear, and the guy's shocked. Well, that's kind of like what I paid for that section of Moonbase Alpha. It was unbelievably cheap.
Wow. Yeah. Was it one of the buildings, Lou?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like 2.5, 3 feet long.
Yeah.
It was featured in many episodes. I could always recognize it because it had a certain pattern on it. And,
Lou, you sent me a tape back in the 80s. You were showcasing your your collection, and you showed me that, and I actually still have that tape. It's from like 1987, 1988 that you made that.
Yeah. Sold my big program book too to some schmuck.
I sense a story there.
It went to a good home. I'm not upset about that.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, because actually we brought this up on the last episode, Lou. But Roy, if you just like do a duck to the left or right there.
I always mention your Eagle, Lou.
Yeah. So I wanted, because we were talking about Robin Hill and Robin Hill building the first fan build 44-inch. Lou, to your knowledge, yours would be the second, would it not?
I built it in 1985. That's all I know.
85. Huh. Yeah.
Yep.
And all completely from scratch, right?
Yep.
It's just amazing. And is it mainly wood then?
It is wood dowels and plaster, and it's a wonder it's held up as long as it has. I noticed the nose, the command module is kind of dipped down a little bit. That can be tightened up, by the way. I think there's 2 bolts in there, and if you tighten those and reset it, I think it'll
pull it back up.
It'll be okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely leaning, and I have to do some work on that. I'm trying to make sure. Am I going the wrong way?
There are light bulbs in there too. That whole front lights up inside, as to my recollection anyway.
I forgot that was in there, Lou, and you had told me about that.
Unless I took the bulbs out for another project. I don't think so, though.
And actually, let me.
Amazing. And because we were marveling, Lou, over the craftsmanship here, considering that there was very little as far as resources, right? I mean I guess in the 80s you could pause a VHS tape, but
yeah, it's pretty much what I did with that.
It's there was no official blueprints or like, it's just remarkable. And then the other thing we talked about is your Eagle cockpit with very little for reference as well. Like
oh yeah, well, I could do that. I could do that so much better today. But
that was an amazing piece of work. Wow.
Thank you. At the time, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It finally deteriorated. It was in my barn loft for years, and in the summer it was hot, in the winter it was cold, and just the weather and all the elements just did not treat it well, and
Right.
it just basically just collapsed in, and it was time to go. And it's like, oh, I hated to take it down, but
There's some
nothing
great
repaired it.
pictures of Roy sitting in the pilot seat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was such an honor and a privilege to be able to be in that.
That was a lot of fun. Could do much better today, but hey,
Roy, you look identical too. You haven't changed today.
I don't know about that.
But no, I mean that's a remarkable piece of Space 1999 history, Lou. It's just those early projects where dedicated fans like yourself would go to those extremes where you're building your own scratch built 44-inch, your own Eagle cockpit. It's just remarkable. Kudos, my friend. Yeah.
No, thanks. I wish I had more photos of it. That's the thing. I never took enough pictures.
Actually, you had actually given me some photos of you.
I actually featured them in the booklets the last couple of years. Roy had forwarded me a bunch of photos, so
there are a few. Yeah, there's a couple of black and white ones, as I recall, of the console in the front.
Yeah,
but that was a good project at the time. Had a real computer built into it too, a Trash 80.
TRS-80, from Radio Shack.
Yeah.
More to the point, Lou. Were you thinking of the episode "The Taybor" when you were building that?
Oh yeah, it's on my mind the whole time. Yeah. No, sorry to say I wasn't. No.
Way to destroy a good moment, Warren. I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of this episode.
I was just thinking about getting it done. That's about all. And making my own little film with it. Video.
I kid, but
I know.
Yeah, no, the episode itself. Do you know what I don't know what else I could say. Oh, did we talk about the music? The nice music from Derek.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, we talked about the music. We talked about, the ship. The ship was pretty amazing.
The ship was cool,
and the acting was on. Yeah. We got to see some Alphans that we know, like for example, Sarah Bullen. This is actually the first time we actually get to hear her with the speaking role. The next time we get to hear her is in the AB Chrysalis when she's talking to Koenig when he asks her if she's okay, and then she said that she's doing all right, but her scanner took a beating. So we get to see that. Also, sadly, you were talking about Alan, Nick. He actually was supposed to be in this episode, but he was supposed to be in it, and it would have been a very small. It would almost have been like a cameo, almost to the extent of how he was in the Exiles. Because what had happened was I think there were 8 scripts that had already been worked on originally, and negotiations with Nick. And Nick has told the story at the conventions and everything, so it's common knowledge, and he shared this. But essentially, he came on at the last minute just because they weren't really bringing back the regulars. It was essentially the whole show had been recast, as we know. He was brought in the last moment, I think on a Friday, and then Monday they were shooting. So what they had to do was they were actually going to, I think, name the chief Eagle pilot. I think it was Mark McClintock. I think that was what was in the scripts, and then also in the novelizations.
Novelization. It carried over. Yeah.
and Gary Worski, I think, or something. I think there was another character's name. But anyway, so what happened was he was basically penciled in, is what they did, and he was being sold on the idea by Freiberger that he was going to be in these episodes. So when it came time, he saw the episode, the Taybor, the script for it, and it's like there's one scene where the Eagles are going out when Koenig and Taybor go into hyperspace, and he's not even in the Eagle. That was the other thing. I was like, they have that other guy, that other pilot, on the monitor screen, which doesn't even look like it's in an Eagle, because just the background of it is just there's nothing in the background, where it resembles an Eagle. They basically had him up behind a wall. But anyway, Tony says, get Frazier and McDougal on the surface. It was supposed to be Carter and McDougal, and Nick saw that, and he basically said he was out of there, and he threw the script and he left. And then I think Martin came after him, and then he was trying to get him to come back, but he wasn't under contract. They, sadly, Anton, Xenia, Nick, they were like day players, and as opposed to like they were under contract for the first season. So with that, he's like, you know what? I don't have to be here, and then what did he say? I think he said he went skiing with Hazel, and he basically went to Austria. And then what happened was they wanted him to come back, and then he came back, and then things changed, fortunately, because it wouldn't have been the same without Nick. But anyway, that was, and we get to hear John Hugg, and he's they used his vocal, and I think you could barely see him in the spacesuit. Whether or not it was him, I'm not sure. But
yeah, he was in that. But I remember I saw his name in the credits, and I said, "Where was he in that episode?" I don't remember seeing him.
Well,
yeah,
that's why.
The moon
yeah,
buggy.
He was in the moon buggy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's right.
But the interesting thing I found out too was in between the Metamorph and this episode, John actually had tried out for the role on the New Avengers for the lead role. Didn't get it, and it went to Garrett Hunt, who got it. Garrett Hunt, as you may recall, was in the Space 1999 episode, just for a moment, Guardian of Paris. He was supposedly going to be playing an Eagle pilot, and he had a more prominent role. But what had happened was there was some friction between him and the director, Charles Crichton, and his stuff was cut. But you actually get to see Garrett Hunt at in one of the last scenes where they're showing the Eagles taking off in Guardian of Paris, and then they're in the command module, and they have the pilots going in there, and he's one of the pilots. So you actually get to see him, but he's not credited because his entire his whole
really
was cut. Yeah.
Does he have his shirt on?
He does have his shirt on. Yeah.
Okay.
he wasn't like Nick and what is it, Tony Allen, the security guard, and some of the other Alphen guys. They're bathing in the Peary light.
I don't think I ever knew that before about Gareth Hunt.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you check it out. You'll see. Yeah, he's in there. So
Boy.
see, you learn everything.
There again, Lou. Right? Roy is just the master of trivia.
Should write a book.
He should. He should, because he has that gift of he even ran the trivia contest in London a couple years ago, Roy, right?
Yeah, that was fun. At 11 o'clock at night.
Oh yeah, it was a midday session, but yeah, we were all running on about 20 minutes sleep.
Yeah.
As usual.
Yep, Lou knows. He's done. Lou was at the very first Space 1999 convention.
Columbus, right?
Yep. That was something, man.
Talk about an event.
Well, and Roy always references reading about it in Starline, but to actually be there, it's what how many people would you say were there, Lou?
It was a pretty packed house.
It was well attended.
Yeah. And I remember I didn't know a soul there. It was just all new. And people that I ran into years later, I said, I remember, like Terry Bowers.
Yeah.
I knew she was there, but I didn't know who she was. She was like this person, like I almost felt like nobody can talk to her. She's like the president of the big fan club, Martin and Barbara. And it's like, she's not somebody who's going to talk to me, and the Von Camps were there, and they seemed kind of approachable, but that Kathy was pregnant with Heather.
Heather. Yeah.
And what's Heather now? Like 30? Well, how you can figure it out.
Yeah. Right. She's 38. Isn't
Jeez.
that crazy? Or
Yeah,
37, 37, 38. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
So
she has a child of her own too now, if I'm not mistaken. I think I heard.
she
So
has
was-
what? Oh yeah, does she really?
I think she
Oh.
does. Yeah.
Could be. Yeah. So yeah, that was weird because I didn't know anybody at all there. But here's one funny thing about it: they had this DJ there, and he's going on, and it has nothing to do with space, but this just cracked me up. And the DJ and introduced another guy who was a DJ, and he says, "And introducing Rich the Stitch." Total crickets, silence. And then the guy looks, "How many of you folks are from Ohio?" And like just the Von Camps, two people. And I'll never forget that. I was just laughing at the embarrassment. Like, Rich the Stitch, nobody
Rich the
applauded. Nobody knew who he was. If you were there, it was even funnier. That was my
Oh, that's
takeaway.
great.
And
You
then
can't
Ed
make
Bishop
that.
was supposed to be there.
Oh, that would have been.
But they had a substitution, and that was Martin Landau.
Oh, there you go.
So there you go.
Was that the very first one? So I'm trying to think of the guest list. Was that the one? Clifton was there.
Clifton was there. Yep.
Yes.
Jerry Anderson was there.
Jerry was there. Yeah.
Barry Gray was
Barry
there.
Gray. Yep.
Mhm.
That's my one
Nick.
time I met Barry Gray. Yeah.
And Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that the one where they're holding the back of the trading card set, like the poster up or something?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. David Hirsch.
David
he's
Hirsch.
there.
David was there,
Yeah.
yeah.
David.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good
Yeah,
stuff.
I didn't get to know anybody until about 4 or 5 years later.
Wow.
I got to know people here and there, and then I started doing some artwork, and that's when people noticed me. Not that I was trying to be noticed, but I got known for doing this artwork. And you're that guy. Oh yeah. So then it just took off from there.
Well, your work is incredible, Lou.
I
mean,
remember. Yeah, I saw a couple.
Was
banner
was.
for 1999 and the 1999 convention. You made the banner.
I did several. Yeah, I did
Yeah.
one for the French convention too. The Cosmos 1999. I don't know where I know Irwin Stank has at least one of those, and I don't know where the rest of them are.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter,
Wow.
but somebody
Oh,
has them.
Thinking back to Dave Prowse was at that convention.
That's
the
right.
1980s.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
You
right
couldn't-
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
he couldn't go as Darth Vader because of copyright infringement or whatever. So he went as Beta Cloud Creature.
Oh,
Right.
I didn't even know that before. So they were really cracking down, and so yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
and
it's
that was
kind of
right after. That was a year after Star Wars came out, so Star Wars was still
Oh,
pretty
it's
big.
hot.
And,
Yeah.
and David came around the corner in like an archway, and he knocked my girlfriend right on her butt, ran into her, and he was so big, didn't even know it.
Wow.
He just boom, she went right over. And years later, a friend of mine who knew Dave Prowse pretty well, I told him that story, and he told Dave Prowse that story, and Dave goes, "I did that," and he felt so bad about it. And he says, it's like she ran into a brick wall. You wouldn't have even known it.
Well, he stood like he was like 6'7", plus he was a bodybuilder.
Yeah,
He was
exactly.
huge.
So that
And it's
was-
funny when Martin Landau would stand next to him, he would actually not look too much shorter than him. It's like when he
No.
would stand next to Christopher Lee. I mean, Chris Lee,
Yeah.
I think, was like 6'5". It's crazy, but yeah, the build on, you see these pictures of him doing the Hammer films, because he would play the monsters a lot of times in those,
Right.
Frankenstein or whatever, and he was just this and I think if I remember correctly, he trained for bodybuilding Christopher Reeve for the Superman movie. Because
Really?
Chris Reeve was really like thin. I mean, he was just he was just like an
Oh
ordinary.
yeah. He had to
He was
work out
6'4", but he had to, he didn't want to wear like
padding. Yeah.
the padding and everything. So he really wanted to get built up. And Dave Prowse was the one that trained him and worked with him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
He was the Green Cross man too.
Yes, that's right. I remember you telling me about that.
They said he was pretty low key. Like in England, you'd see him on the side of his house fixing his kid's bike, and he's a regular guy.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's really cool. In regards to this episode, we mentioned the writer. The director is Bob Brooks, and he was also an American director. This was the first episode in 1999 he directed. I'm happy to say he went on to direct a second Year 2 episode, which is one of my favorites, which is the Immunity Syndrome. So, which is kind of cool. And he was a photographer too, and he had basically like an agency, but he had worked on different types of commercials and really brought them to popularity. So he definitely was very, very good at what he did. And he had done that up until, I think he passed away in 2012, sadly. So,
well, think about how long ago that show was. We're talking 50 years.
I know. It's crazy.
We don't want to think about it, but it was.
Such a long time ago.
Yeah,
I think in a lot of ways, Year 2, and I've said this to Warren before too, with Year 2 turning 50, it's really hitting me more so than from the first season. And I don't know, for whatever reason, I guess in my mind it was still in the 40 years as far as the 40-year time realm.
Right.
But now that this is actually 50 years, I mean, the fact that 76 was 50 years ago, the bicentennial of the U.S., they made such a big deal about that when I was in grade school and you were in high school probably. And here we are 50 years later, and it's just kind of crazy in regards to
I was just out of high school at that time, by a year.
Yeah, well, that's right, because you were saying you were 20.
Yeah.
But sorry, guys, I'm still with you. I was just working on pulling something up in the background here. The one thing I was going to mention is just about those early conventions. It's really remarkable to me, and something struck in my mind, so I went and I found the photo. But there was some amazing costumes at those early events. And,
yes.
And lo and behold, here. So give me a second, and I'll share my screen.
I have one that comes to mind.
Did that one show up?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
And
So
I know who that is in the Maya costume, and I was talking to her in Burbank, and she was with Charlene, and I can't think of her name.
Judy Moore.
That's Judy Moore. That's Judy Moore. She was in but I thought of this picture because lo and behold, we have a Taybor.
Yep.
Yeah. How about
I
that?
think that's Chris Link on the right, I believe.
Just and there again, I mean, talking about crafting your own eagle, but I mean, the effort that went into these costumes when there wasn't the resources and available materials. Like, look at that Maya dress.
Yeah, and even the costume for the Z Knight from Xeno.
Yeah, with the headpiece.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's Chris Link. I was just talking to her a couple of days ago.
Wow, really?
Yeah, she's still around, living in Burbank.
Amazing, hey? Yeah.
There was a guy named Ron Butler. He made a spacesuit, the orange spacesuit, and it's been surpassed since then. But he did a damn good job on it, considering, again, no blueprints, no resources or anything. There are photos of that floating around. I'm sure you could find somewhere.
Yeah, Warren and I were actually very fortunate when we were at the in London. Daryl Simmons, the work he has been doing, I mean, with the command module of the Eagle, and then also he had the spacesuits commissioned, and they are amazing. And I can't say enough about Daryl's work too. He's just so talented, and he's just really just what he's putting out in the convention that's going to be in Manchester. I can only imagine the next level, with what he's going to be doing. I think Warren's.
I loaded it in the wrong spot. Give me a second here.
Yeah, I got a preview of it in the corner.
So definite shout out to Daryl.
StreamYard's great, but you got to be quick on the
Yeah.
Did Daryl live in California at one time?
No, I don't. Not that I've ever been aware of.
Oh, there's a Daryl that I think I sold my rifle to. The more I think about it,
Hmm.
but I digress. Never mind.
No, that's okay. But yeah,
Get
so
some
this
dentist
was
chairs.
London, and sorry, Lou. Yeah,
No,
it's
that's good.
like in every sense of the word, screen accurate.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
just incredible, down to every last button, knob, switch. He sourced original manufacturers, and for all the lenses and all the little lights, it's just incredible, an incredible amount of time and dedication.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Far better than what I did, that's for sure. He has those are dentist chairs. I know
Yes.
that much.
They are.
And,
Yeah.
I didn't have anything like that.
And
No,
they
but
weigh a ton.
Yeah, no, but what you did, Lou, was amazing.
Oh yeah, no, considering the, sure, it might have been somewhat a product of its time, but it was an amazing product of its time because, yeah, nobody else had ever even attempted anything on that scale or grandeur. So no, I mean,
It took me
It
37
works.
years to get, 37 years later, I finally got into another Eagle cockpit.
yeah, twice.
I treasure those photos and being able to experience that. That was pretty amazing.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that's a nice
shot at Catherine.
Yeah.
What else we got here? I liked all those sequences on his ship. It was surreal.
Yeah, it works. It definitely worked.
Sort of surreal with the rainbow effect over top of when
Yeah.
when they're in hyperspace or whatnot.
Yeah, there it is.
And there's a little bit of the
Yes,
same
that's
effect. But yeah, it's a beautiful ship.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Like a speed racer, right?
Yeah, and whoever thought of painting a spaceship red like that? That's kind of neat.
There's just as far as model or props work, there is a good half decent close up of the stun gun, and this is the hero, because you can see that's the selector.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting too. If you watch, there's several episodes. In fact, I was watching this with I don't know if it was we were talking about One Moment of Humanity, when Helena and Tony are basically at odds. Helena has the hero, and then Tony has the vacuum formed stun gun.
Obvious, right?
Nozzles are like painted, and it's so different. But especially in high def, you can see it really close up. Yes, this is something that we haven't talked about yet, and I was not impressed with this. I mean, it's like, really?
Well,
just the whole idea that they could build an exact replica.
Yeah. I was having a problem buying into that. And the interesting thing is where there's the crossover with Maya, at the end, towards the end of the episode, when Taybor sends the robot back, and then she basically explodes, and then you see her face with the computer components. It's the same thing that basically happened at the end of the Guardian of Pre episode.
That's right.
Yeah.
Serving with the Guardian.
Yeah, and that scene, I mentioned it last week as well, Roy. There was a picture in an early Starlog. No, it wasn't Starlog. It was another magazine. Anyway, yeah, I remember the imagery more than anything of Maya's face and the robotic, skeletal structure underneath.
Yeah,
kind of creepy.
Mm-hmm. And you can see the painting that's the painting of the base in the background there.
Like somebody put a lot of time into that paint job alone.
Yeah.
Look at that. Very cool.
But
yes,
that ship was pretty amazing, though, as far as for the build of it.
Yeah, try coming up with a design of a spaceship sometime and see how easy it is. I mean that sarcastically. I'm trying to come up with one for my next film. it's not easy to come up with something that it's like, oh, I've seen that before. It's just tough to do. Some
It's
people are
hard.
good at it.
It's hard not to be derivative and
Yeah.
yeah.
That's very, very creative.
Yeah. Lou, you should tell us a little bit about that. The last few years, you've gotten into some filmmaking yourself and short films.
Oh
few
yeah.
projects you've done.
Not much to tell. Yeah, I've always been a filmmaker. I started with Super 8 and then went to video, and I was never happy with any of the results with those things. Super 8, you were so limited. You tape pieces of film together. That's as best you could get. Visual effects, forget it. I bought a device what's called a backwinder, and you put the film, you shoot like 8-10 seconds and back it up and then superimpose another image over it running that same bit of film, kind of the same way they did the Eagles. And you didn't lose any quality, not that there was any to begin with on Super 8. It was so grainy and everything, but there was this thing, it was like $60, and that was a lot of money back in the 70s for this little box that basically backed the film up. All right, so bottom line is that you're limited. Then video came out, you had a little more control because you could buy these character generators and you could do some limited effects with it, and that was fine, but still you couldn't composite anything. You were stuck with that one layer. Then I gave it up for years and years, and then something called digital came out, and then the whole world went upside down. It's like, oh man, I'm thinking the stuff I could do with this. So I decided to make a little test film, and then it's like, man, this isn't bad, and I don't even know what I'm doing here. Where do I read up on this and delve into the program a little more? Started doing matte shots and green screen and all that. And now what I did then and still do is in the dust. There are people that have gone way beyond that, and this AI stuff and all that. And I'm too old to learn this crap now. I don't care. But yeah, so I ended up making a film, and then I made another one, and then I'm making a third film to complete the trilogy, which Roy is in once again.
Oh,
And,
really?
I don't have I had a little drawing of a shuttle thing that I drew. I would have taken it out. I didn't know we'd be talking about it, but that's okay. But that's why I said it's hard to come up with a design that's like, it looks like something else we've seen before. It's just difficult, but yeah, I'm having fun with that. And I don't know, this might be the last one I do. It might not. Depends on how, if I survive my last heart procedure. They gave me 5 years, and I'm thinking, I don't feel like I'm gonna kick off this quickly, so maybe I'll have 10 years. Who knows? But I'm gonna keep going. I'm not discouraged by it. So there you go.
Many more years, my friend.
Let's hope. Yeah, because I got stuff I want to do.
Absolutely.
I've been stuck in this recliner here for like 6 months right now. I can move around a little bit on a scooter, but I have to keep my foot level. And now I've got to go back for the surgery. I'm going to have to do this all over again. But hopefully it'll heal faster this time. And then I can get the other foot done. And then maybe by summer, if all goes well, I'll be walking around again. Who knows? Yeah. But I want to get back to my film, because I've already started pre-production and did some things on the computer already, some test shots, and it's looking good. So that's all I've got to say about that.
Excellent. Well, congratulations, and I'm sure it'll all turn out well and end up very nicely. So
I hope so.
Absolutely.
Right, well, Roy's in it. How you can't go wrong.
Well, I know. You know what? I'd after we're done the show here, Lou, I mean, I'd pay big money for those audition tapes.
Yeah. Okay. I think he was one of the few who didn't audition. I knew what I was getting into.
I was kind of thinking that. Yeah.
I knew he did.
Sorry, Warren.
I've had
probably wouldn't be much. He's pretty good, and of course his repertoire of theater work down through the years, and
oh yeah,
he's
going to be tested this time. There's a range of emotions he has to go through in this. I wrote a lot of. He's got a lot of dialogue in this next film, and he's got his work cut out for
Yeah,
him.
no. I'm glad to have the copy of the script. So
I
that's
gave him a copy of the script. That's
yeah,
fine.
it's definitely going to be fun.
My
Wow.
phone is ringing. Oh, it's my guy, snowplow guy.
Okay.
But Sandra's
We
going out.
we were talking about all the snow, and Roy mentioned, and you said yourself before we went live that you got dumped on quite heavily as well.
about 20 inches. And that
Yikes.
wasn't the record. The record was the southern part of the state. They got like 30. And it beat the last record, the big blizzard of 78, which we had that had like 28 inches. So do the math. It's at least 2 or 4 inches more than we had.
Yikes.
So
No,
yeah, it'll like I said, it'll melt around June probably at this point. Man.
Crazy. Hey, there was one other thing I wanted to talk about with you, Lou, and that's that we probably mentioned this the last time you were on, but for anybody out there, it's just a fun little story.
Yeah.
Actually, my very first convention was with you. I'm not sure if you recall, but that
1999.
1995 in Portland.
70.
Okay. When was that? I'm sorry.
95 in Portland.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yes, where we met up. It was a little almost like barely a relaxicon.
A no-con almost.
Yeah. But there was quite a few of us there. But it was, long story short, we all went to see Barry Morse in a play, Love Letters, which he did with Barbara in 99. But in 95, he did it. It was in conjunction with a theater group that in Portland, where Tony Wynn was from. And so Bob Wood and I drove from Canada. It was my first exposure into 1999 fandom, and they did the Love Letters play, which was beautiful and poignant, and a really nice time. But his co-star was June Lockhart, Roy.
That's right.
Yeah, I remember Lou telling me about that when he had gone, and his the interactions between Barry and June and everything. And I remember that and I can't believe that was like 31 years ago already.
It was amazing. So Rosie was there.
Mm-hmm.
Terry Bowers was there.
Yep.
Sandra Sprecher, yourself, Joyce Chico,
Joyce,
Colin Marshalletta, Bob Wood, myself, and
I'm trying to think too.
There's quite a good, 6 or 8 of us, I guess, that got to hang out with Barry all weekend. It was a lot of fun.
That was a great time, and I did some of I helped Barry set up furniture or something. I don't remember.
There was a frenzy of last minute furniture buying, as I recall. To address the set with.
That's right.
It was it was a lot of fun. And you know what? And one thing I've never told you, Lou, after all these years, is during that weekend we were having a meal, and you and I were talking, and you told me a story, and I couldn't believe it. I almost fell off my chair, and it was about the fact that you had actually built yourself a 44-inch Eagle.
Oh.
And immediately I was like, okay, so this was for a fan film that you did a number of years ago, and it's been, so what are you doing with it now? And can we negotiate? And I'd really like to purchase this. And then it turns out
it's a small world. It's a small world after all.
That was a little showpiece in my office for the longest time. It was in the display case, just like it is now in Roy's room, and I just ran out of room. I ended up building robots in there, and
amazing.
the stuff piles up, and it's like, this is taking up a lot of space. Then I put it in my living room, which was basically under a sheet, and I said, why am I just storing this thing when I can give it to somebody who would appreciate it? So, hey, Roy, you're coming up here? I got something for you. So that's the story, basically.
I have to agree with you, though. I mean, aside from my own home, yes, Roy's would have been, my second choice. So it's landed in a wonderful home.
Thank you for that.
Oh yeah. Yep.
No,
Now they're going to get rid of my robots, though, because I spent way too much time on those.
Those robots, amazing, Lou. The workmanship, it's Warren. it's incredible.
That was
I
10
can't even
times the work the Eagle was.
He's
So
got
these,
the B9, and he also has the Robbie robot, which was
oh
featured in the
yeah,
Lost in Space.
I think I've seen some pictures.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
it's incredible.
amazingly accurate.
Absolutely, it's just
Yeah,
amazing.
I had a little help with the. Well, actually, it was very easy because the dimensions are readily available for both of those.
Right.
And a guy I know who had access to a professionally built Robbie sent me all these measurements, and I said, "Oh, this will make it easy." It wasn't easy because I had to sculpt every piece, but I did at least know what the sizes were, and that's half the battle right there. So I was able to build it up pretty. I say quick. It took me a year to do that. The B9 took about 6 months maybe.
I
But
can't believe it only took you 6 months, Lou.
I purchased the I ended up purchasing a torso from somebody who got it from the original mold and all this kind of stuff. So this is somewhat accurate in that respect. I bought the bubble. There's no way I could make that. And the same goes for the dome on Robbie. And my Robbie is not Robbie. It's the Robotoid from Lost
the
in
Robotoid.
Space.
I'm sorry.
It's got a little different front piece, and where these 3 lights go back and forth, and
That's
which
right.
I think looks better than the beer cans.
I agree.
Swivel around. So
Yeah.
that's why I did it that way.
Yeah.
There's definitely some DNA there. Like did one sort of inspire the other, and they were trying to do something different enough not to get.
Who knows?
Who knows?
I think the thing just broke originally, and they just put something else in there. I know look at what they did to it for Twilight Zone. They put that goofy can inside his head, and they had a different head altogether, I think.
Yeah.
Do you remember a show called Mystery? In fact, I went to that convention. It was probably about 2 hours from here in Pennsylvania. I was there for maybe 3 hours. It was back in October. It was called. Do you remember that television show called Mystery Island? It was on in 1976 Saturday morning. They used one of the 2 robots. I think it was. I don't know if it was the hero. If it was the hero or if it was the stunt robot. And what they did was
the hero. It was the hero.
It was the hero. Yeah, and they mutilated the robot from Lost in Space, and it was oh my god! And they painted it white. And what did they call it? Pops. The name.
Pops.
If you and there's a guy that does he has a YouTube channel. He's really good too. He does a lot of Dan Monroe. And he actually had a component. I got talking to him about it, and he was like, "Oh," and
he's happy about that component.
He was surprised I remembered, Mystery Island and everything. And he had a component from Pops and he was showing it to me, and it was I think on the front plate. And it's terrible.
Yeah, they painted it white. They put a cake box, clear cake box on his head instead of the bubble, and they put this base on it, and they just destroyed it. And they ended up having to get it refurbed to make it look like the old Lost in Space robot, and probably cost a whole lot of money to have it done, but restored, I should say.
Yeah,
but
he had he had a B9 there, and then they also had I don't think it was I don't think it was the Robotoid. I think it was a Robbie there.
It's a Robbie, yeah.
Yeah, and there was another guy there. They were talking about the B9 Club, because those were the B9s. What were they, Lou? Like 25,000 each for those?
Something like that. 21.5, I think they might have gone for.
Yeah,
they were mass producing them, and this was around the year 2000, and then everybody was getting on the bandwagon. Yeah, I want one of these. Oh, they planned they made a whole assembly line for them and everything. And then they had this slight recession came along.
Yeah.
Nobody had any money anymore. So then all these B9s that were sold ended up on eBay. and he wasn't selling any more of them, so he just kind of gave up on the thing. And he had enough material at the time to make 2 or 3 more. He said, "That's it, I'm done." But
it's crazy.
I guess you could. I think there's still some out there. I'm sure you could find one somewhere. I don't want to spend 21 grand. I already have one anyway. I don't need it.
No, and yours are amazing. So
Well, I made them myself. That's the beauty of it.
That's
why I
that's
would never
the,
kill them.
that's the special thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
In fact, we had him on an episode. We did the broadcasted
Oh yeah.
that's probably about 3 years ago. Hopefully, it's not one of the missing
The missing episodes. Yeah.
episodes.
What an ordeal. Hey, Roy, with that segue, why don't you give us a shout out to what you're doing next on your show?
I wish I knew what we were doing next, but the show is Roy's Tie-Dye Sci-Fi Corner, and it is on Friday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's on selective Sundays. In fact, Shari and I just did The Outer Limits last night. Lou was out there, and we did The Inheritors. We did part 1 and part 2, and there were a lot of crossovers from Star Trek actors and that producers, of course, and that was fun discussion. But anyway, we have not announced what we're going to be doing as of yet, but I'll probably know by tomorrow. And that can be watched on Facebook and also YouTube, although I've been having some issues with YouTube lately. But anyway, thanks for the plug there, Warren. And episode 293, we got our 300th episode planned for April 3rd, which is a Friday, which will be to the date 6 years that I've been doing the show. So, which is kind of cool. Yeah.
Amazing.
6 years. Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, it was during the heart of COVID. You can believe that. But one thing I just wanted to interject real quick, Warren, because I know you got a lot of cool stuff to talk about, and maybe you want to share too in regards to things that are coming up. One thing we didn't talk about, and I know a lot of the Barbara fans out there will enjoy this. And actually, it was a great sequence between Martin and Barbara and Commander Koenig and Dr. Russell, where there's like a romance going on, and it was a little bit of an influence from the Taybor because of his sneaky perfume that he pretty much was trying to divert Koenig and essentially have his judgment clouded while he was planning his great caper, so to speak. But they had actually, the romance going on in Dr. Russell's quarters. But of course, Koenig, being the strong leader that he is, snaps himself out of it.
Just like Kirk, I can't leave.
Anger.
Forgive me while I do this. I've got glaucoma. I got to.
Oh, you go ahead.
No worries.
Hey, I know all about that. I'm on drops for the rest of my life myself.
Oh yeah.
The other thing to mention too is this is one of the few times in an episode that we get to see Koenig do something that he used to do all the time. Any idea what that is?
Okay, so it's the only episode where we see Koenig do something.
One of the few times that we get to see him do something that he used to do all the time.
Good question.
That he used to do all the time.
Yes, and I think maybe this might only be. Let's see. This might be the second time that he actually. No, actually, this is probably the first time that we see him do it. Yeah, and he used to do it all the time.
Is it say, wait a minute?
No. Wait a minute. No.
I'm curious. I don't have any idea what that is.
Yeah, I have no clue.
He uses his comm lock to open the door.
Oh.
Yes.
They got away from that.
Yeah,
and
we talked about
when he goes to find Helen, go to Helena, and he's leaving the command center, he uses his comm lock to open the door. Yeah, it's something that he did all the time. And
right. Yeah. I mean, that's what it was for. Yeah.
So
save that one for the next trivia contest when you.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Any ideas what the next episode that he does that in? There's actually 2 episodes that he does it in that I can think of that follow this one. One, the doors open, and then one, the doors do not.
Bringers of Wonder.
That's what we didn't figure out what we
No. Good guess, Warren, but that's not it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I don't think I know he uses a comm lock, obviously, in Immunity Syndrome, but I don't think he opens any doors with it.
Nope. Give up?
Yep.
Brian the Brain?
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think he's when he's leaving to go to the command center.
Maybe, yeah.
To go to the Swift. And then the other time is in the beta cloud when he goes, Maya, your comm lock, when the door won't open. He tries to open it manually, and then he tries to open it, and then he goes, Tony must have program the computer to lock all doors.
Right.
So
Yeah.
anyway, just a little trivia out there.
Okay.
I'm glad I didn't wager any Bitcoin on that one.
Anyway, but Warren, are you going to be sharing a video with the fans, or?
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll probably wrap up here shortly, and thank you both for your time again, and
thank you.
And Lou, there was one other thing about that weekend in Portland that I just wanted to maybe jog your memory on.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it had been your first time hearing this legend, but it was for me because it was my first convention, and so I remember it very clearly. There was another meal. It might have even been the same one. I can't recall exactly, but I heard for the very first time, and for anybody else out there who hadn't heard of the legend of Margaret Layton. Yes, of actress Margaret Layton from Collision Course, and how she down through the years just sort of hangs around Space 1999 events, and basically, she's mischievous. She plays some tricks and games sometimes, but she's really there to look after us, right?
It is scary how many times that's happened. Elevator doors not closing and stuff like that. And
Yep. An extra drink will show up on the waiter's tray.
That was it's happened numerous times.
And right up Burbank in last September, Roy. You remember how?
I know exactly where you. I know
the elevators were. Lou, no word of a lie. You'd get in and you'd hit a particular floor, and the doors would open, and you'd walk out, and you're on the wrong floor.
And it said that I think we were on the fifth. We were supposed to be on like the fifth floor, and it said we were on the sixth floor, or vice versa. And you're like looking at it, doing a double take because it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yes, that's been going on for a number of years, I guess.
Well,
I don't remember the first time, but I know it.
Rosie told the story, and it was so it wouldn't have been from the first event, but it was a subsequent. It was still an early con where the committee was sitting around, running through a list of potential guests to reach out to, and somebody had mentioned Margaret Layton's name, and then somebody else just sort of said, "Yeah, great idea, but she's actually passed away, so that would be pretty difficult to achieve." So, and this person hadn't realized that Margaret. Yeah, what year did she pass away, Roy? Do you recall?
1976.
So it was right after.
It was right after.
Yeah.
She had, if I'm not mistaken, I think she was only 54 years old. That's the other thing. When she passed away, she was young. They aged her for the episode.
Yeah.
But I think she had MS. She was dealing with that, and she was shaking a lot. And in fact, when I think Ray Austin directed Collision Course, if I remember correctly, and she at one point even was quoted as saying that she didn't think she was going to be able to make it through. Ray Austin was talking about it in an interview, and she really didn't know what she was saying too with the dialogue, but he pretty much was just saying, just go with it. It'll make sense in the story. But she really wanted her scenes to be done because she wasn't doing well at all. Right.
Well, listen, and I was just thinking, Roy, that well, as you know, and as we recently premiered in the last virtual 24-hour period, we have put together a new sort of short or promotional trailer for the Return to Moonbase Alpha film that we're trying to put together over the course of the next few months. And now a number of people out there have probably seen it. I'm not sure if Lou's seen it, but I just want to sort of preface by saying that a lot of the inspiration came from that story of Margaret, of the character of Ara. And it's really, we did another trailer, Lou, you probably saw with Anton Phillips. This one is quite a bit different in tone, because I was really sort of going for that spooky, haunting vibe that a lot of the year one episodes had. And so this is what we came up with. We'll run it again. And I hope you enjoy, my friend.
All right.
We have expected you for many millions of years. I have been for you, John.
What will happen to us?
You shall continue on. Your odyssey shall know no end. You will prosper and increase in new worlds, new galaxies. You will populate the deepest reaches of space. You see, your destiny has always been our destiny. Alan Carter. It is I, Alan, who need your help now.
Ara, she cold. Where is she?
Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And even right down to the name Ghost Call, right?
Yeah.
It's there were some definite nods there to the legend of Margaret, and
There is. Sure.
there's even, if you watch it again, if you catch it again, there's a nod to the elevator doors. The second time you see Ara, she's sort of right beside a set of doors into the travel tube that are open, and as soon as you see her, the door behind her or beside her lights up at the same time, and so
Yeah. That's cool.
yeah, it was
See.
a lot of fun. So yeah, and
Cool.
and that's sort of the latest. What we're going to do, we mentioned earlier on, Roy, that we're going to take a break for a few weeks now from the segments here, and that's going to give us time to sort of fine tune and prep. We're going to launch a crowdfunding campaign April 1st on Kickstarter for Return to Moonbase Alpha finally, and we'll come back in April so that we can do sort of live updates throughout the month and just sort of keep everybody apprised. We'll be doing this episode segments, but we'll be able to keep everybody apprised on the status of the campaign at the same time. So
Great.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch. And then again, you referenced Nick McCarty. I mean, his work is amazing.
Oh, I just incredible, and as soon as I saw that imagery, it's on his page, Space 1999 by Nick McCarty. For anybody out there, I mean, he's for years he's used these software programs to generate these otherworldly environments, whether it be planetscapes and things like that, where you see eagles and just beautiful shots of like a sunset over an eagle or things like that. Just incredible work. So I saw that those clips of the dilapidated moon base, and then I to me it was kind of spooky and eerie to begin with, and then I just sort of coupled that with framing it around Ara and Alan, of course, and then the music track.
Yeah, no, it totally works.
Yeah.
So,
thanks for sharing that with I'm glad Lou got to see that too, Warren. Yes, that was
Thanks for
yeah,
putting it up there. I hadn't seen that one. I saw the one with the Anton, but not that one.
Yeah. So
Cool.
yeah, a lot of fun. There's a lot of things on the horizon that and I can't thank Roy enough for being there right from the beginning with this whole Return to Moonbase Alpha project. It goes back to when we found those Martin Landau tapes, as you're aware, and just the way the one tape was mislabeled was really all it was. There was a copy of Destination Moonbase Alpha in there, Lou. of that Martin had, but it was mislabeled on the inside of the outer sleeve was it said Destination Moonbase Alpha, but on the tape itself it was inaccurately labeled Return to Moonbase Alpha.
Hmm.
And so that was the impetus of the idea between myself and Bob Wood, and it just sort of snowballed from there. So
It's how these things happen sometimes, It's
The influence of Ara.
well, yeah, there you go.
absolutely, yeah. Just
Cool.
something crazy like that. I mean, because the story is those tapes were almost about to hit the dumpster,
Thrown
Yeah.
out.
and we
That's-
rescued them. Yeah.
You hear so many stories like that too. I mean, there was stuff from the from Star Trek. Some of the props, I mean, they wound up in the garbage, and if it wasn't for folks salvaging them, they would be lost. And now, they're worth like so much. It's just crazy, and how things get saved. And this is another example of that happening. So it's pretty
Thanks
cool.
to the dumpster divers out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
We've
So
had a fair share. We mentioned who was the fellow? Phil.
oh, Phil Ray.
Phil Ray was
Phil Ray.
yeah, the curator of many
Yeah.
of the props and pieces for many years.
Oh, absolutely. And it's we have them to be thankful for in terms of that.
I met him in Springfield back in 1982.
Did you really?
Wow.
He was with
Yeah.
Martin Bauer.
So did he? Yeah, because didn't they bring the pieces over?
That's right.
Right. Yes.
That was exciting. Let me tell you, that was.
Oh yeah.
I can only imagine.
a
To
whole
see the
room full of
original
that
boy.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
He had some
there's-
other stuff there. Some from UFO. Had the
Mhm.
Sid and all this like totally iconic stuff. It's like, wow.
Yeah. I'll tell you, that is one of my disappointments. I so wish I would have the chance to have met Ed Bishop and Michael Billington. And the fact that the two guys, they actually passed away like within 5 days of each other too.
Mm.
It was just really tragic. But Ed Bishop really, really just seemed great with the fans. He just really just seeing him at different events and just pretty much connecting with everybody, and even Michael Billington too as well. I mean, just they really seem like really great guys. It's just it's a shame.
Well, it's
Yeah.
something you said, like not even in that case, Rory, but I mean, it shows you how much of a connection, all of Jerry and Sylvia's shows, right? I mean, built between not only us as the audience, but between the actors themselves. And then the other example
Not yet.
is last year we lost Prentice and Clifton within the same week.
I know.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? It was
Yeah.
really bizarre that like they were so connected. They'd known each other for so many years, and just
That was terrible.
yeah, crazy.
That's the thing with time going on. But
Yeah, well,
this has been good. I mean,
onward and upward. It's been a lot of fun,
Yeah.
guys. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it was a good way to put the spin on this again. Not this episode has redeeming qualities, and I know there's some folks that really enjoy it, and it was a fun way to celebrate it. And again, it's 50 years, which is crazy. So
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If I didn't mention, guys, I'm sorry. At the top of the show here, this is actually my very favorite episode.
Is it?
sorry to hear that, Warren. That's all I'm going to say.
And on that note,
On that note,
we'll wrap it then for this week, guys. But thanks
All
again
right.
to our very special friend Lou Place for joining us on this segment. And
no
we do
problem. Anytime.
No,
everybody
I
tuning
appreciate it,
in
Lou.
and continuing to support us and be watching for some new and exciting things coming out down the pipe. So what do we do?
Cool. Laugh long and perspire, everybody.
Live long
Exactly.
and prosper, everyone.
And perspire.
That too.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Much appreciated. We'll see you
Hey.
soon.
Good to see you, Warren.
You too, Lou. Yeah,
Great.
take care, okay?
Take it easy. See you, Roy.
Bye.
See everybody soon.
Lou, don't go away.
telling me I'm muted. Well, there we go with our very first show within a show. I hope everybody enjoyed that. And that was a lot of fun. It created a way to still connect with some people out there. And yeah, I had a blast just sort of watching the comments there, and it allowed us to go back and forth a little bit as we were watching that latest segment. So, and we had good viewership today. So I hope you all enjoyed that, and I'll certainly consider doing that again for any of our pre-recorded segments, just to keep it a little more fun and interactive. So. Thank you so much again out there. Now, on to a couple of things. First off, we recorded that last Monday, and I saw the comments coming in and the well wishes. So I did want to extend those to Lou. That we all hope and pray that his surgery went well this week, and that he's off to a speedy recovery. And there were a number of people chiming in, so I just wanted to pass that along to Lou. And on top of that, then let's get down to a draw. I have some very good news, and I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to draw for a copy of Breakaway 4K from Anderson Entertainment. I think here we go. Off into the abyss. I love it when it does that. And that should have brought things up. So great news, actually. Beth, Paul, Jenny, Michael, Michelle, and Gary are all going to be joining us in Manchester. So really look forward, and thank you all for your support out there today. And so we'll just spin the little magic wheel here and come up with a winner for that copy of Breakaway. Okay, here we go. Just like that. Round and around she goes. Oh, that looks like Michael. There we go. There we go. So, yeah, awesome, awesome. Yes, and we're back. So, yes, congratulations, Michael. We'll get that copy of Breakaway 4K off to you in the post. And thanks to everybody again for tuning in. Be sure to, if you missed it, be following the new Facebook page at facebook.com/return to Moonbase Alpha on the latest updates. We are going live on Kickstarter actually a month from today. So April 1st, be watching, everybody, and thank you for your support. And some very exciting times. It's going to be bigger and better all year long. We're into 2026. It's just so hard to believe. But yeah, we'll call that a wrap then for this segment of Space 1999 this episode. Really pleased with things. And thank you all out there again for your continued support. So have a very good week coming up, and we'll talk to you soon.